Well, here comes part two, and I think we've seen all of this lot, so we will jump straight in and see what else there is. This isn't all stash now, or some of the stuff we're going to see is slightly older, and I think we'll just get on with it, don't you? Now we come on to apologies for the pretentiously placed sci-fi books, but I was in the middle of doing something else, so I've got bits of paper and I've put absolute rubbish litter all over the floor. I made a total mess, and I should have just focused on one job, but I got distracted, a bit like the focus here. There you go, synchronicity, no such thing as a coincidence, and I ended up doing this. So let's do this and enjoy ourselves. We have a small Roman section, particularly late Roman and not Roman at all. So I want to do this. I did this as a kid and I didn't do it justice. This is a really good model for its time, and actually for now, except for just a few bits and pieces, you know. Anybody who's familiar with it will know the things. We'll talk about that when we do that one. I'm holding back because I want to do a little film about hill forts, very brief, and then move on to Roman stuff. Not for any particular reason, but I want to stay focused, shall we say. And then we have a Celtic chariot. You can see the bits and pieces. It's a shame the base, the floor of the chariot is there because it's blocking everything else out. The Roman fort is off eBay. These are off eBay, and I've squeezed a few other bits in there so the box is a bit ruined and bulging. And then I got these directly from the vendor, who are Warlord Games, I believe they all are. Rodica packed these ones, thank you Rodica. And there's some spears on the back of a different one of those. These are late Roman cataphracts and similar, and so late Roman that this is the kind of thing King Arthur really would have been like ish, possibly, probably, guessing. And there we are with the plastic figures. They're really good, and I'm looking forward to doing those, but they will be some time away. So we will get round to these bit by bit. Just worth throwing in there. Bit of a move in a different direction. Did I say King Arthur? Shouldn't be King, naughty me. And did I say argue amongst yourselves? That's not very nice, is it? Have a joyous discussion. That's what I meant. You know what it's like when the camera starts going, your brain freezes. So this is more of the incontinent spending on eBay while ill. Next time I have anything done. And there's another one coming, there's another knockout job coming shortly. I shall somehow block myself from eBay. That one, I always wanted that one, never got round to. That is a bit of box art to rival Airfix. That is top quality. And by the way, £15. Is that then or now? And then into some Airfix classics. Why did I buy that one? It's full of tiny thin struts. Although I remember when I made it as a kid, it came out wonderfully. Back to the Hawker Demon, say no more on that one. And then, what a truck. The gun isn't particularly well crafted by Airfix. Sort of a bit thin on detail and stuff. And it'd be nice to have a crew, but the truck, just fantastic. I'm so pleased I got that. There's a lot of guilt here of spending. Or what I tried to do, the main policy was trying just surfing through and getting the cheapest things around. And people weren't, nobody's interested in that one at all. I got that at a pittance. And then there seems to be just loads of these ones out there. So some people are, people who don't have eBay shops are just flogging them off for next to nothing, because obviously somebody's bought them, or they've bought it and then thought better of it and gone, oh, I'm never going to make that, and off it goes. This appears to be one of those as well. So this was a reasonable price. Anyway, there's still a lot of gilt here. God, ridiculous. One of the most remarkable machines human beings have ever created. That, I remember seeing these driving around fields when I was a kid, 20 or 25, 30 years after the war, doing all sorts. This is more than it appears, because inside I've stuffed a similar box of British tank crew in winter kit. I think they're late British tank crew or something, and I believe they are also by Mini Art. Get your filler ready. Then my first helicopter. I've been hanging on helicopters because I wanted to do that one. The name's gone and I'm going to get it wrong and it's going to be embarrassing. Beagle something. Airfix, very old. Twin rotor jobby. And I loved it as a kid. It was such a simple model, and it was hollow. There was no detail inside whatsoever, which was a shame. It didn't do the aircraft justice, but it just looked great sitting there on the shelf. And I wanted to do one of those. And there's loads of them on the internet, but people are bidding like mad. They're going for extraordinary sums. And I feel like a bit of a mug when the figures get to a certain level. So this was, actually this one's from the local shop. And it was a pleasure to go in there again after so long. This is definitely off the internet. I'm not quite sure why I bought it. So I think we'll probably leave it at that. There is some kind of vague theory behind it. Talking of not quite sure why I bought it, should we give it its real name? Hell. Their boats are gorgeous, but their aircraft are hell. But look at that. It is a flying Art Deco block of flats. Incredible. So I had to. I'm halfway through another Hella interwar French aircraft. Can't remember which one it is. And it's run aground because there's just so many horrible elements to it. I'm going to have to get something like a chainsaw out to repair that one, or restore that one. So this will be a while, but there's I think I can consider this the gilt, the truly gilt pile, because they were just indulgences. It's not like there was a theory like collecting the ESCIs or something, just avarice. The penultimate section, I bought them earlier and they came out of a box I was fiddling through. I knew they were there were not any issues, I was just putting them off. I've made 2 Scammell tank transporters because I think both the word Scammell and the vehicle itself are just fantastic. But this one came up really cheap ages ago and I had to do it for the box. So that one might not get done. Again, put it on the shelf and see how time goes. Same with this one. And I got that a little while ago. And who can resist the early vertical takeoff aircraft of the universe kind of thing? I know what I meant. Then there's this one. I bought this in the 90s when I briefly lived in Portsmouth. Just walking down a very, very long road. And there was this kind of chaotic model shop, and there was that. Bought it for sentimental value, haven't made it, probably won't. It was the first tank I ever made when I was 8. So I re-bought it, and it's just sat there all that time, and it probably will. No idea what I was doing with this. £8.99. Wonder what that goes for these days. It just looks butch. So here we are with two tank transporters, and I think I'll make that one. And this is a complicated story which we'll deal with when we actually get to the thing, but this is another Harrier lacking its box, and that one's alright, we can make that one. So there's a slightly older group worth mentioning because I just rediscovered them. Don't get your hopes up on these, let me say that now before we go any further. We're just about finished. These three will not get made because the boxes are empty, and I've made them already in my youth, I believe. Oh, that one I don't know, I can't remember. This one I still have. I didn't really finish it off, and I know that it is in a box somewhere. So when I finally dig it out and find it, we will finish it off, and it will be a beauty because it's still got the markings. I don't think they'll work anymore, do you? So I'll see what I can get hold of online, and then these two are just empty. But this leads on to other things. First of all, it's obvious I kept that box and a couple of others actually. I don't know where all of them are. I've got a Hawker Hunter box, red stripe. I started to realise that it's not just the artwork, it's the box itself. I used to put things like bits that broke off and things I'd found. I used to put them in these boxes. It's the tactile nature, it's the absolute shape and format, because some model companies, their boxes are horrible and you don't have any qualms about chucking them in the recycling and lighting a fire with them or whatever. But in particular Airfix, no. And I have an idea which I will explain in a moment. So, this idea. I was looking online on various places, and even empty boxes are going for £3 or more. Come on. And then there's the postage and packaging. Give us a break. But obviously, in fact, I have noticed that you can get some of the models, let's say a red stripe box, one of these or one of these, or one of these, whatever, cheaper with the model in than you can for the empty box. So there you go. I've been thinking for some time that what I miss in the world is those very old model shops, the ones that are usually small and cramped and packed to the rafters. And they didn't have, there weren't so many products when I was very small, so there was a uniformity about the shelving. And very often in Britain all you could really get was Airfix anyway. So what I'm thinking of doing is getting loads of these, as many as I can, and sticking them end on onto a scanner and scanning the ends as if, so the thing that comes out, the A4 or A3 sheet of paper, is just loads and loads of box ends. Hopefully, ideally all red stripe, where they have that little box and they have the Airfix logo, just like these, and stacked up. Let me do it. So like that, and then creating wallpaper out of it. So you walk into a room and you look like you're in one of those little model shops, packed with Airfix kits. Airfix in particular for me, due to my age and the kind of shops I went in. But obviously you could do others too. Retro wallpaper. Wow. So somebody else, I haven't got the time or the strength right now, and I haven't really got the contacts to make a go of this, but somebody else, pick that up and run with it. You will be very rich, I'm sure. I'll buy it.